Hello everyone, Skippy here, and welcome to One Piece episode 927. Directed by Satoshi Ito and supervised by Shigefumi Shingaki and Keiichi Ichikawa. After the past few weeks of assistant director-led episodes, regular episode director Satoshi Ito, who learned quite a bit from Nagamine's atmospheric direction and storyboarding in past projects, is picking up where they left off. His most recent episode on the anime, episode 919, was one that was visibly quite rushed, so I can only hope that he's getting the right amount of time that he needs to go back to impressing us with the reveal of Orochi's serpent form. While the first of two supervisors that he's paired with, Shingaki, is certainly one that raises a lot of eyebrows, with an art style that features a groggy and overall alien look with strange feature placement noses and sharp chins, but his corrections actually look pretty strong in the preview. And our chief animation supervisor, Keiichi Ichikawa, will definitely be putting in work as the second supervisor. So will episode 927 follow up a quality string of episodes with one that furthers the storyline at Orochi's banquet? Well, let's slither on over to the episode and find out. This episode covers the remainder of chapter 932 and the first 3 pages of chapter 933. And despite some Chopper and Big Mom filler, more of Toko going around the party, which gives her better reason to laugh, and some rearranging by moving Kyoshiro's words to the end of the episode to produce a more impactful cliffhanger, the episode is actually pretty faithful to the original manga while staying relatively well paced. But there isn't a whole lot of interesting direction in it to make you really feel engaged in the content. Don't get me wrong here, there are some instances where Ito pulls out some really nice uses of color that are reminiscent of our series director, but those are very few and far between, and the rest of the episode feels so bland and lacking directorially. Like I said, the content itself is adapted quite well and finds some ways to once again expand on what the original manga had to offer, even if it's not much, but when the direction feels kinda bland, it leaves a lot to be desired for such a huge moment like this, with Ito's really weak showing here also carrying over to the storyboard. Ito's storyboard here feels quite unremarkable on the whole, being packed with some cool bits here and there like his direction was, with depth of field shots and some nicely composed angles, but on the whole it's quite void of many cool ideas and doesn't feel all that interesting to look at, with most shots feeling extremely zoomed in and cramped, which certainly doesn't help the rather non-existent sense of scale, which definitely only serves to make Orochi's transformation and its following movements a bit hard to follow. Sure, the cool moments are still there and all, but when they're so sporadic that they're almost immediately followed up with a bland or busy shot, I can't say that they do all that much for its overall quality. Seeing as how this episode has had more than enough time to be produced, I don't think we can blame a rushed production schedule here. Shingaki's art is at the very least still as polished as I expected him to be, but I'm still not too fond of his very unappealing way of drawing the characters, leading Ichikawa to be a breath of fresh air when he pops up to correct characters like Robin and Komurasaki, but that doesn't set aside the rather disappointing quality of our director's efforts here. I wasn't expecting all that much from 927 to begin with outside of its big moments, and the fact that the preview showed very little in the way of something interesting. But I at least held out hope that Satoshi Ito would have a trick or two up his sleeve, and he didn't. I'm not too sure what's happening with Ito here since he was pretty strong once Wano first began, but as someone who's really enjoyed his episodes up till now, I can only hope that he gains his focus back soon. But next week's episode looks to be everything that this week's wasn't, as episode 928 looks surprisingly quite solid. At the moment, we don't know the staff behind it, but the board looks to be packing in that much needed scale that Orochi's transformation desperately needs, and what looks to be Kazuya Hisada's supervision is rather solid and is accompanied by some of his own neat key animation, full of dynamic posing. Couple that with Ishizuka apparently making a surprise appearance for Komurasaki's death, with eye trails and smears in tow, and you can consider me excited for 928. Anyways guys, that's it for now. I'm Skippy, and at least the Chopper filler was good.